Hey guys, welcome back. 999 here again. And last time we finished up one of our other endings, the axe ending, as you can see up at the top of the screen. And this time I've been told, because last time we had the option of going through door 1, door 2, or door 6, I believe. We chose door 1 and we ended up with the axe ending. I've been told this time to take the exact same route, but instead we're going to go with door 6. So that's where we're going to head next. And there was one little thing that I had to look at before we got there, so right after this we'll go to that, and then right after that we will start from door 6 since we've seen all of this dialogue, unless I happen to find a decision that there's another option too, but it wasn't terribly important. Anyway, you'll see it, but the majority of what we will be doing today will be going after door 6. So I will see you guys then. Okay, so I'm here in right after you go in room 5. For a point of reference, it's not that far, but it's the first class cabin with the 2 rooms, and we have to solve the noise lock just as a point of reference. And I was told that if you keep looking at the light switch, apparently a funny dialogue line comes up, so we're gonna do that. It's a light switch. Hey, Junpei, you're a Taurus, right? What? Why? Well, you're so well organized. Most people wouldn't bother to search something that didn't seem to mean much. And okay, so I was looking at the light switch from the wrong direction, because for whatever reason, different directions in the game, maybe to keep it more interesting, have different dialogue. It's a light switch. Pretty sure this is for switching lights on and off. Hey, Junpei, I wrote a little song for you. Take a listen. The Ballad of the Well-Organized Man. Well organized, well organized. You're orderly, but not orderly. That ain't no bull. Urge to kill rising. Hey, Junpei, I wrote you another verse. Listen. Well organized, well organized. You've got it all laid out when you're not out getting laid. Not a Taurus, but a Taurus. His death will be slow. Any more? A light switch. Well, nothing happens when I switch it. Okay, that's it. That was actually kind of humorous. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna keep going. Okay, we're back again. So, welcome back. This is our decision again, where we're choosing whether we want to go with door 1, 2, or 6. And seeing as we've seen both door 1 and door 2, despite the saying we haven't, it's just we haven't seen it in this line, we've seen it in a different way. We're going to choose door 6 this time. A few things I wanted to bring up. Let me pull it up really quick. I didn't actually have this ahead of time. Hold on. Okay, I've got it right here. So Raymond had written me, it said, the intro that plays for the game's attract mode after boot up changes after you get certain endings. I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that. Are you saying the intro video, or are you saying something else? Because I've looked at the intro video and that hasn't changed, but maybe I'm interpreting what you're saying wrong. I'm not sure. But other than that, we're going to keep going here. Door 6, hopefully Clover doesn't murder everyone. Could still happen. Definitely could. She's kind of crazy. But, I don't know. So we're going to go with door 6. I want to go through door 6. Junpei flipped open the piece of paper. It read, Junpei, door 6. Of course it did. He'd written it after all. That's a problem. June spoke barely above a whisper, but they all knew what she'd said. None of these teams will be able to go through the doors they want. Clover and I'd choose door 1. Lotus and I'd choose door 2. That's not enough people to open a numbered door, however. The digital routes don't match up either. We've got similar problems. June, Junpei, and I want to go through door 6. But our digital route is 5. If we're going to open that door, we need a 1. Dang. What are we going to do now? What are we going to do? Junpei crossed his arms and did his best to put his thoughts in order. The others followed suit, but with little result. Eventually, Clover broke the silence. Why don't Seven and Lotus go through door 1? With me. Her face was cold and flat, as was her voice, but her logic was sound. Seven and Lotus looked at each other. And that would equal 19, which when you add that together, makes 10, equals 1. The first problem resolved, Ace spoke up. What about me? Isn't that obvious? Wasn't one of the teams just complaining that they didn't have a 1? You mean, I should join Santa's team? Clover nodded, her face still cold and emotionless. Her attitude and posture could not have been more different than the energetic girl of only a few hours before. No one seemed ready to contradict her. Her response was understandable, given the horrible situation in which she had found herself, but even so. I understand. I will go through door 6 then. If we do as Clover has suggested, we can all pass through a numbered door. No one will be left behind. This seems to be the most reasonable solution. Which does indeed equal 6, so we could do that. Seven and Lotus, what do you guys think? I don't have a problem with it. Me either. Either. Alright then, we're good to go. So I guess that works. I was kind of curious how they were going to resolve the fact that they all wanted to go to different doors, but they couldn't all do that. I guess Clover's a good enough way to do it. At last, Junpei and the other 6 had managed to separate themselves into 2 teams. Clover, Seven, and Lotus headed to A deck, where door 1 was, near the main staircase. Junpei, June, Ace, and Santa, however, took the elevator to E deck. The ride to E deck was a silent one. Alright, let's go. Santa's words jolted them to action, and they stepped out of the elevator into a long, straight hallway. Before long, they arrived in front of door 6. One by one, they put their palms over the red. I'm really excited. I want to know what's beyond this door. With a soft electronic noise, it authenticated each of them. The door opened. And, all at once, the 4 of them leapt through it. Fortunately, the dead was located easily enough. I was a little curious why the dead was so close to this one, but in the first one it was located so far. I guess the first one was kind of to make you think that there was danger to it, and these ones are just, you know, just completing the role, rather than giving you the feeling of danger having to run so far to get it. This one had been placed quite close to the door that entered through. They gathered around it quickly and hurriedly placed their palms on it for authentication one by one. And we're safe again. It stopped. Yes. It stopped. The countdown had ceased, but Junpei's heart was still pounding in his chest, like a frantic, thunderous drum. It felt as though it might shake itself up and out of his throat. He'd been through the doors 3 times before, but repetition had not dulled the experience. He was not anxious to find it dulled, however. He hoped to be free of the ridiculous game long before that happened. Alright, let's go. Without attempt at good humor, Junpei took a deep breath and began to walk. That was humor? He jogged down the stairs at the end of the hallway and found himself staring at a large door. It was a heavy thing, made of iron, and more than a little threatening. He took hold of the bar that served as its doorknob and shoved it down. The room beyond stopped him in his tracks. What is this? It was gargantuan, and made entirely of metal. None of the accents of wood or tile he'd seen in the rest of the ship. This room was purely functional, but utterly tremendous. Oh, whoa! What is this? Santa got out a few words before awe stole the rest of them. The rest were too stunned to offer anything more than gasps. It was easily the largest room they'd seen, and yet it was somehow closed and oppressive. The ceiling was at least 2 stories high, if not significantly more. It was easily several hundred feet across, and appeared to stretch the entire width of the ship. In the center of that gargantuan room stood a massive rounded building. Even from a distance, the sheer bulk of it was oppressive. Junpei could feel the room, the building, even the air pressing down on him. Junpei and the others were standing on the scaffolding that crisscrossed the whole area. The proper term was catwalk, Junpei thought, although that didn't seem particularly important. I don't think that is important, unless it means everything. Alright, let's head downstairs. Nearby was a long iron staircase that made its way, eventually, to the floor beneath them. They moved around towards the opposite side of the massive building, following the catwalk. They hadn't said much as they walked, but as they approached the building, Ace suddenly spoke up. This looks to be the steam engine room. The steam engine room? Yes, the thing that looks like a cross-section of a mushroom is the boiler. Do you see the 3 round doors near the bottom? Coal is put into those and burned, which heats the water, producing steam. The same thing that drives a steam engine. This one is simply somewhat larger. I see. Even if Ace was right, the boiler was boiling nothing as they approached it. The entire room was as silent as the grave. Suddenly, Junpei heard a noise behind him. He turned, just in time to see June collapse to her knees. Did you see something else scary this time? Hey, what's wrong? Are you alright? He dashed towards her and wrapped his arm around her shoulders to steady her. It was then that he noticed. You're really warm. Is your fever coming back? Yes, it probably is. But I'm fine. Please don't worry about me. I just need to rest, and I'll be fine. Her voice was weak and forced, and it said a great deal more than her words did. Junpei carried her to the nearest wall and propped her up against it. He let her head fall back against the wall, as if she no longer had the strength to support it, she did, and drew a ragged breath. Her eyes were empty, as if she was having trouble focusing them, and even speaking seemed difficult for her. Junpei felt his hand ball itself into a fist, and clenched tight, his knuckles whitening. He had to find a way out, and quickly. I doubt just because she's sick that you're going to find a way out. He turned and looked at Ace and Santa in turn. They might not have shared the depth of his emotion, but they certainly shared his concern. He didn't need words to express the urgency of the situation. Alright, let's get started. Hang in there, June. I'm gonna get you out of here real soon. She managed a small nod before leaning back to rest her head on the wall. Alright, so we gotta escape here. This seems like a rather large room to escape from. But I accept the challenge. Let's begin. Alright. So this looked multi-leveled. I don't know where to start. Let's just start looking at everything. This pillar goes up towards the ceiling. I'd say this is probably here to move coal from place to place. It probably comes from over there. And then the belt carries it down the tunnel and out of here. So, if the conveyor belt was moving, yes, the coal would almost certainly come out here. I bet that's our puzzle right there. A tunnel. It goes all the way across the ship. Whoop, I meant to click the little panel here. There's a light. Look at that button. Oh, it's a button apparently. It's glowing orange, right? That's gotta mean something. I guess pressing it is the best way to find out if it does anything, Santa. Nothing. Nothing. What are those? It's a square hole. Nothing in here. Ah, look at the back wall there. I can see 3 small slots. Terminals for some sort of connector, perhaps? You mean, you think we're supposed to plug something in here? Perhaps. Okay, so maybe we need to be on the lookout for a cord or a plug. Alright, I think I've seen everything there. What is this? A wheel? A golden gear. It doesn't look like it was always golden like this. Well then, I imagine it was prepared especially for the game. So maybe we need to remove it? It looks like there's a door over here, in this tunnel. The belt over there must deliver the coal, which is then picked up and thrown into this door. The door appears to be welded shut, however. This gear is rusty, but it looks like it's still pretty sturdy. Alright, I think we're done with that. This is the huge oven for this boiler. There are 3 open areas in it. Each of the open areas has a gear in it. Oh, so each of the areas has one of these golden gears. There's a bunch of wooden boxes over here by the wall. I already looked through those. There's nothing there. Okay, well, let's go up the stairs. Okay, so I'm sure this is another part of the puzzle. The 3 sliders on the left are down, but this one is up. There are a number of lines engraved in these. I suspect we are meant to do something rather specific with them. Junpei, why don't you move that slider down? Well, there's no harm in trying, I suppose. It's not like it's the thing that's going to make everyone blow up. You never know. Nothing. Nothing happened. Maybe it needs to be prepared somehow. You're saying if we did something somewhere else, it'd respond somehow? Yes, I suppose that's one way of putting it. Okay. What about these? These 2 columns are different from the others. Yeah, the ones on the right. The lights are red. Sliders down. Looks like Santa wants to give this one a shot. Nothing. This thing won't budge. Okay, so I think we can't do anything with it right now. Okay, not the bottom side. Let's go up it more. So up here, what's up here? I mean, it's the top of the thing, but is there anything important? One of these doors on the furnace. There's an... Sorry, quick video cut. My voice cracked. There's an A on it. There's a circular wheel in the center of the door. Alright, let's give that sucker a twist. Oh, it's open. Wow. Well, it's noisy, but it opens. And it's totally pitch black in there. We should, go in here. Alright. Let's go. That sounds like a bad idea. This looks just like the door we went into. Wait, is it like a hallway we went through? Where are we? We must be on the other side, yes? Which would put us directly above the conveyor belt. At any rate, we should keep moving. There's a great deal we've yet to investigate. Which is definitely true. Stairs stretch from the catwalk to the boiler. The furnace for the enormous boiler. It says A on the door, which indeed it does. Okay, so that got us back over here. To see. Okay. There's a wooden box hanging beneath the catwalk. There's a wooden box on the end of this rope, hanging from the winch. It looks like there's something in the box. But what's in the box? Okay, so maybe we can't get it right now. It looks like a hand-operated winch, but we're missing a handle. But it doesn't look like there's any way to, operate it. That means the wheel isn't attached. What? The wheel isn't attached? Do we need to attach those golden gears to this or something? I don't see why we couldn't just pick it up. Maybe it's heavy, I don't know. Hand-operated winch. Okay, so the whole thing's a hand-operated winch. Okay, I was wondering if there's little bits to it. This pile of boxes is blocking my way. Very helpful. Thanks for your very useful contribution. The catwalk. I can see some scaffolding on the wall over there. Over there? Oh. I clicked over there, but it thought it was this one. There are a whole bunch of boxes in my way. I can't get through. They're just wooden boxes, right? Can't we just, like, push them down or something? Okay. So that's interesting. There's C and A. I wonder why there's no B. Oh, there's B. There are a number of boxes on the catwalk. I don't think we can go over there. Well, anyway, looks like that's the pipe. Looks like the bottom connects to the conveyor belt housing. Then coal must come out of this pipe onto the conveyor belt. In other words, there must be a great deal of coal in that pipe. Okay. Same catwalk. Okay. I don't really... Yeah, I think we need to go... Let's go through B. Okay. So we're on the other side... Okay, we're on the other side of these boxes now. You have an excellent memory. Use that to draw a map inside your head. That way you won't get lost. Indeed, I will not. What is this? This supports and braces the side of the ship. It's not a ladder. I'm glad they told me, otherwise I would have thought it was a ladder. So, there's another winch over here. And this one has a wheel in it. Alright, let's give this wheel a spin. What? That's weird. I don't feel any resistance. Yeah! Oh! Oh, dang it, we got a wheel. Now we're not going to be able to puzzle. Good job, genius. You broke it. I didn't break it. It broke all by itself. Okay, so I guess we're not, let's see if I can get it back on. There's a couple of posts on the back of it that look like they fit into holes on the winch. No good. These little shafts are too small for this big hole. It's like throwing a hot dog down a hallway, to be honest. If that's the case, then the wheel wasn't originally part of this winch. Then that means that it's a part of the other winch. Okay. There are a whole bunch of boxes whose only purpose is to be annoying. Alright, so we need to go over, I think, through B or C. Then stick this over here. The hand-operated winch. There's no wheel to turn. Oh, yeah! I've got the wheel I pulled off the other winch, don't I? Let's see if it fits. Indeed it does. Sweet, it's a perfect fit. Like they were made for each other. Pretty sure they were. Not shaky at all. Good. I should be able to turn this now. Good work, Junpei. We should be able to haul up the wooden box now. You see? The wooden box. It's under the catwalk. Can you see it? I did see it. It's hanging from the rope on the winch, isn't it? It looks like there's some sort of device in the box. I'm not sure what it is. At any rate, you might as well turn that wheel now. I would turn the wheel if you would stop talking to me. I appreciate you, Ace. You just won't stop. I'm counting on you. Okay, let's turn the wheel. Alright, I'll turn the wheel. Huh? What's this? What happened? This wheel only turns to the left. Ah, so we have to lower it. It only turns to the left? That means we can't reel up that rope. Yeah. We can only let the rope down. Interesting. I don't think that will be a problem. We will simply need to go downstairs after letting the wooden box down. I will be counting on you, Junpei. Sure thing. No sweat. Alright. And there we go. Okay, so we need to go down there and get that. I believe the box has reached the floor. I feel like Ace is like the master of being Captain Obvious sometimes. Yeah. He stuck his head out over the side of the catwalk and looked down. The box that had only recently hung just below the catwalk now sat on the floor. It had come to rest near the end of the tunnel that covered the conveyor belt, near where June had collapsed. Junpei could see her, still leaning against the wall, as if she barely had the strength to sit up. Even from so far away, it was not difficult to see that she had not improved. He almost thought he could see heat rising from her body. She doesn't seem to be improving. Ace's expression was inscrutable, but he said what they'd all been thinking. Well, of course not. She's not going to get better right away, you know. It'll take time. He tried desperately to convince himself that what he said had been true. What he had said had been true. What could be causing this, I wonder? Illness, perhaps? Nah, it's gotta be exhaustion. Santa's response was confident and certain. She gets dropped into some weird ship. Forced to play some messed up game. If you think about it, it's a lot weirder that we aren't freaking out just like her. You know? So you're saying we're abnormal? Yeah. We're just running around this room solving all these puzzles like it's just business as usual. How could you call that normal? We're just guinea pigs. Santa snorted in disgust. A guinea pig? You mean like a lab rat? You mean we're being used for some sort of experiment? Is that what you're saying? I don't know. But it does seem like a possibility, you know? With that, he turned and walked away from the winch. Junpei and Ace followed him. Alright, cool. Oh, you know, speaking of experiments, Santa suddenly stopped. There was this experiment some scientists did with rats. I'm sure there's a lot that they did with rats, but what about this one? First, they took a square C-shaped tank and filled it with enough water that the rats could drown. The tank had two exits, A and B. Exit A is pitch black, so dark even a rat can't see anything. Exit B, however, is electrified, which means the rat can't leave through it. So, what would a rat do if he was put in this situation? Which exit would the rat choose? There was a moment of silence after Santa posed the question, and then Ace responded. B, of course. The rat has no way of knowing that exit B is electrified. Exactly. The rat goes to exit B. Of course, like I said, it's electrified. Which means the rat can't get out that way. So, after a lot of trial and error, the rat finally finds exit A. I can't say that's very interesting, or relevant. It's simply the story of a laboratory experiment. You're right, it isn't very interesting. Oh, I missed that bit of dialogue. Yet. Okay, that wasn't hard. The scientist repeated this experiment over and over, using hundreds of different rats over several generations. This produced some surprising results. With each generation of rats, they took less time to find the correct exit. Eventually, a rat was put in the tank who instantly chose exit A without even attempting to go to exit B. But even that wasn't the most impressive thing. The same experiment was conducted in another laboratory, far from the original one, with the same results. No, on second thought, the results weren't really the same. The rats in the second experiment began the trials with significantly faster times than the first rats in the initial experiment. These rats were not related to the rats used in the first experiment, and had never come even in contact with them, and yet they all easily found their way to exit A, as though they already knew. And this sounds a lot like, what was it? What Lotus was talking about. Lotus was talking about that one experiment that the TV show had done. And how there appeared to be people who, they didn't have the information to know what the picture was supposed to look like, and yet more of them knew it than before, and they shouldn't have had the information. So how did they know that? And this is kind of the same thing, it seems. What did it mean? Are you suggesting something like telepathy? They were passing information from one another through some undetectable medium. Ace looked skeptical. Santa snorted at him. How would I know? I'm not any kind of scientist. I don't know what made him do that. But I do know that story's true, and if you've got another explanation, I'd sure love to hear it. Come on, let's get going. There's still a lot here we haven't checked out. And we gotta get out of here before June passes out. Without waiting for a response, he turned around and started walking. Junpei, however, wasn't quite ready to leave the topic alone. Hey, wait. There's something I want to ask you. Santa stopped and turned around. Why did they use that tank for the experiment? Huh? Well, I mean, it seems like you could conduct the same experiment without the water. They could have just used a dry box, you know? If they needed to motivate the rats to escape, they could have, I don't know, put some bait by exit B or something? I mean, do they really have to make it so the rats can drown? Santa gave a grim bark of a laugh. You know the word emergency comes from the same root as emerge? You ever think about that? Well, emergency is something urgent, often something dangerous. And to emerge means to sort of come out, or appear, or rise out of something else. So what's going to emerge in an emergency? Inspiration. Inspiration? Yeah. Think about it. When the chips are down, either you crack or your mind focuses and pulls up what you need. So in an emergency, your real potential emerges? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Well, I mean, it's fight or flight right there. You're either going to, if you're stuck in a situation that you can't, you know, win, or you're stuck in a situation that's against you, you're either going to try to run or you're going to try to fight it. But generally, you're not just going to sit there and do nothing. Something's going to happen. That's why the rats had to drown. They had to be in danger. There had to be an emergency for inspiration to emerge. Junpei suddenly felt cold. The back of his head was aching, and his stomach felt strange. Junpei has these really weird reactions to what people say. Like, he sometimes gets... I mean, I understand when he sees dead people getting those reactions, that makes sense. Or when he saw the bracelets, and he got those reactions, that also makes sense. But sometimes, he'll just talk to people, and they'll tell him something weird, and then he'll get, like, headaches, or he gets... I don't know, he's kind of weird. But maybe in the situation, you would react differently than just, you know, sitting here reading the story. So, I can't 100% say that that is odd. But, I do know that this is where we're going to stop for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. And next time we'll check out what's in that box and maybe see if we can get something to come off that conveyor belt. I'm assuming it's probably not coal. I'm assuming it's some sort of puzzle element. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time for more 999, where we look inside boxes. Bye!